O'Neill Outside Radio is brought to you by these fine sponsors. Zach Brown's Southern Grind Knives. Only the best make the cut. The Whitetail Institute of North America, the gold standard for food plots. Tough Shed, great storage sheds and custom buildings. Works, power and garden tools. Fisher's Choice, the ideal solution to live bait. True Turn Hooks, hook more fish. Roadrunner Lures, outfishing ordinary lures since 1959. Crocodile Bay Lodge, Costa Rica's best fishing and resort destination. And by O'Neill's new Real Gun and Marine Oils, naturally the best.
Good morning, boys and girls, from Black Powder Headquarters and the Bojangles Studio, high on Sassafras Mountain. CDA presents Real Tree Radio. Welcome to a brand new, unused Saturday morning. Good morning, boys and girls, from Black Powder Headquarters and the Bojangles Studio, high in the mountains of North Georgia. This is O'Neill Outside. Welcome to a brand new, unused Saturday morning. Yes, indeed. You and I are going to get together and talk outdoors for the next couple of hours. No politics, no Mueller report, nothing of that sort, no finances, no nothing. It's you, your family, the outdoors, turkey season, springtime fishing. Oh, we've got a lot of things to talk about this morning, and we hope you'll join us. We want to get calls from you from all over the country if we can. You can hear us at AM 750 WSB and 95.5 FM in the Atlanta area and across 38 states, and of course, too, the SB Nation, the Sports Broadcast Nation, from Fort Worth and Dallas and Seattle and Sacramento and Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, Boston, and all across the country, all the way to Miami. Please join us if you can. The telephone numbers are 404-872-0750 in the Atlanta area, or outside there, 800-972-8255. It's my obligation and pleasure to tell you that this program is brought to you by the Whitetail Institute, Hayes Auto Dealerships, Tough Shed, Striplings, Works Tools, True Turn Hooks and Roadrunner Lures, Governor's Gun Club, O'Neill's Gun Oils, Real Lubes, and Deck Cleaners, Snellville Heating and Air, Zach Brown and his Southern Grind Knives, Timbuktu and Fisher's Choice Products, Bodyplex in Alpharetta and Jasper, O'Neill's People and Places Along the Way book. Have you read that? Well, I think you should. And then finally, Rush Creek Guide Service. That's Travis's guide service out in Oklahoma. So welcome to the program, everyone. It's almost 4:09. We'll have the radio prize package. We're going to play Who Is This today. Besides the radio prize package, we'll have the Medal of Honor tribute, and of course your calls and my fishing tips and the Southern Grind questions as they come in. You can watch us on Facebook and tune in continually on radio. It's almost time for a break. 404-872-0750, 800-972-8255. This is O'Neill. Don't leave. Stay right there. We've got some calls here we want to take. 404-872-0750, 800-972-8255. Let's see if we can ring up Dave, I think calling from Woodstock. Good morning, Dave. You're on the air. This is O'Neill. What's going on? Have I got Dave on the line? Have I missed Dave?
Hello?
Hello,
Yeah,
Dave.
this is Dave. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. What's going on with you this morning? Turkey season, that's what.
Man, I'm getting up early in the morning. I got to stop and get me a cup of coffee on the way up to Blue Ridge. We're going to go do opening day turkey hunt.
Good for you. Have you got some located?
Well, I do, because I've got a friend up there. He lives just across the road from where we're going to be hunting, so he's got them all counted and named and lined out for me.
Okay, you better watch them. They'll still trick you, won't they?
Oh yeah, I've got over being on opening day optimistic. I don't do that anymore. I figure I'll just get something started today and maybe finish it next week.
There you go. I like that attitude. Well, what have you got lined up? Have you are the two of you going hunting? Tell me about it.
Yeah, yeah. I think I'll call for him.
Okay.
He's kind of done the pre-scouting, so I'm just going to call for him today and see if we can bag a big eastern. But
Okay.
I lived in Oklahoma for 20 years,
Oh boy.
and that is a great place to turkey hunt out there. That's where I killed my first turkey,
Mhm.
and you can get easterns, Rio Grandes, and if you go all the way out to the western Panhandle, you can get a Merriam every once in a while.
That's exactly right. Those Merriams and the Rio Grande are a great deal easier. They don't hurt your feelings like these easterns do.
Oh yeah, when I moved back to Georgia, back to my home state, I had to up my game quite a bit to start dealing with these easterns, especially when they've been chased a lot.
Yeah.
And going up these hills, man, I tell you, it's tough. There's an old saying up in North Georgia: you go up, and then you go up some more.
Yeah, that's right. Well, it's always a mystery to me. I tell people that when they ask me about hunting up here, and I don't hunt very much in the mountains because when you get out of the truck, you got to go uphill. And then somehow or another, when you go back to the truck, it's still uphill. I don't know. There's no downhill up here. Everything's uphill.
Yeah, and I've hunted out in the Rockies with my cousin that lives out in Big Timber. He's a big turkey hunter out there, and nothing's as hard as hunting in the Southern Appalachians. That's a tough way to hunt, but it's rewarding when you get one.
You bet it is. You bet it is. Well, good luck to you today, pal. Now call me back next week now and let me know how you do. Okay.
I will do. I'll tell you about all the near misses.
All right, tell me how they hurt your feelings, okay?
Yeah, I will do that, sir. You have a good morning.
You bet. I'll see you soon. There we go. Let's get to this next one here, too, if I can see it on my – is this Nancy?
Yes.
Yes, good morning, Nancy. This is O'Neill. Good morning.
How are you?
Lovely.
Good. It's Saturday morning, and it's brand new, and it's unused.
That's exactly right. A brand new, unused Saturday morning.
Yes. O'Neill,
Yes, ma'am.
I am in a different place in life because I'm retired now.
Okay, good.
And I used to go fishing with my daddy,
Uh-huh.
but me and son, S-O-N, don't get S-U-N, do not get along
Oh, boy.
because I just blister and peel. But now that I'm in Newton County, there are rivers.
Ooh.
And this is the question. I don't know, one, how to start to look for, quote, places where I can just sit in the cool, in the nature.
Mm-hmm.
And secondly, what are the, quote, rules, unquote, of picking a place and not trespassing or stuff like that?
Ooh, that's tough. Tough questions now.
I don't know what if I could just know what the first step is, I think the next steps would make sense.
That's right. Well, as far as places to fish on the river, wherever that river might be, it's almost
I won't
always.
fish, I just won't spit.
Oh, I see. Okay, well, you know what? You'd have a good partner in that. I love to just sit there too. Now, you live in Newton County. What's the closest river to you?
Well, I've got Yellow River,
Okay.
and there's a big Indian Creek that's big.
Okay,
You know, you can
okay.
sit by it and stuff like that. But I don't know how to go about scouting a spot.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know what you're going.
Hit me.
This is what you're going. This is my recommendation, because
Thank you.
because I haven't done what you're asking about doing. I would suggest that you go to the local tackle store, the local fishing place to buy baits, and place to buy tackle, and go in there and be real sweet to everybody and tell them, whoever's running that place, what you want, because those people they'll be local guys. And I'm not. I would tell you the Apalachicola, or pardon me, the Alcovy River. But see, I haven't been on the Alcovy River.
Okay.
I haven't been there in a long, long time. But your local bait shop, listen, fishermen love to talk. All you have to do is ask them a question, and then it's tough to get them to shut up.
Well, I've asked several men at different times, and they look at me like I've got two heads, and they don't get it. But I listen to you a lot, and I knew you'd understand. I just didn't know what the next step was.
Well,
but a fishing shop sounds just the same.
That's exactly right. You go in there a couple of times. I'm sure the proprietor or the owner knows someone who visits there and buys tackle and buys bait there who will be willing to help you with your questions.
O'Neill, you have a good one.
I will. You bet. You have a great weekend, too. Springtime is headed our way.
It's already here.
You betcha. You betcha. See you later here. All right. I know that's going to be a good adventure right there. All right, it's 19 after the hour. We've got time to put the radio prize package question out there. And the radio prize package, the rules are you have to be 18 years old, never to have won a radio prize package in the last 2 years. Okay, the telephone numbers are 404-872-0750 or 800-972-8255. Now let's see here. Where's my list of prizes? Okay, here's the prizes you can win with the first correct answer, and it will not be repeated. Bojangles gift card, a DVD from Whitetail Institute, Swaggerty's Farm coupon, DNR rigs, a Realtree hat and decal, Data Sport fishing game forecaster, 2 cans of Fisher's Choice, 2 packs of Bugman, a Thunder Chicken by Captain Mark Noble, Thorogood boot hat and Wigwam socks, a Roadrunner fishing kit, Arctic ice thing to keep everything cold, and a package of O'Neill's oils. And here is your question. What is the name? We've already told you once today in today's program. What is the name, first name at least will get you the prize, of the man who invented the True Turn hook? What is the man's name that invented the True Turn hook? And after we get an answer to that, after I come back from the break, I'll tell you an interesting story about this man and his family and how he came up with the True Turn hook. I love to know stuff, don't you? I really do. Like, the more you know, the more interesting you are, and the better hunter and fisherman you can be. This is O'Neill with O'Neill Outside, Saturday mornings, 4 to 6 a.m. I appreciate you joining us, and we'll be back with the answer in a moment. 25 after the hour, you're listening to O'Neill Outside, the #1 live outdoor-based radio talk show in the world, and I appreciate you being out there for us to chat with on a Saturday morning about the outdoors, and we hope you enjoy it. We've got the radio prize package floating around, the question floating around out there, and we have an answer already. So I'm going to ask that question again, and we'll get that subject out of the way because I've got some other things we want to do. All right, the question is, what is the name of the man who invented the True Turn hook? And it's worldwide, this hook, and I'll have a story to tell you about that. First of all, let's go here. I think this is probably Donna. Good morning, Donna.
Good morning. I'm the coyote hating person that calls you.
Yes, you are.
His name is Mr. Campbell.
Yeah. Yep, that's right. John Campbell.
I have a cool coyote story. There was a local article in the Gainesville Daily Times newspaper about coyote hunting, and they bring pelt for $170 a pelt.
That's worthwhile, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah, I'm hoping to find people who will do that.
Yes, indeed.
So,
that makes that more worthwhile for sure. How did you know John Campbell invented the True Turn hook?
I listened to you.
You listened to the show. That's right. Well, we've got your information. You won quite a prize package. It's been a long, long time since you won one, and I'm proud to say that the regular listener Now, you know more. I mean, I bet how many people would you know today that would know the answer to that question? Not very
Me.
many. But there's an
I don't know anybody else.
That's right. Well, there's an interesting story about that. And I'm going to tell that story now. You want to stay there and listen?
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you. Have a good
John
morning.
John Campbell was a sharecropper's son, and he lived in Alabama. And he got a job at the Air Force Base there in Montgomery, and this was in the 1930s and 40s. And he was an IBM computer operator. You know, remember the old photos in movies with the IBM cards that would channel down in the machine?
Yeah.
And they had holes. It read the holes in the cards.
Oh, yeah. I used to be a librarian. We used to do that.
Okay, good deal. Well, he figured out that if he used a gem clip and he straightened it out, but had a couple of small little bends in the paper clip, he could stick that inside the card holes and straighten them out, and they would all line up very neatly. And he thought, well, now, if I take a fish hook and put a bend in it, when I set the hook, it's going to turn in the fish's mouth, and I'll hook him more often. And that's how he did it. And
What did fish hooks look like before then?
well, just straight. The shank was straight, and most of them still are.
Really?
But the true turn hook has a bend in the shank of the hook. And since that time, his sons, Wes Campbell and Steve Campbell, have made true turn hooks into a gigantic company with Daiichi Lures, Roadrunner. You just name a whole long laundry list of products that they sell, and they're still in Wetumpka, Alabama. So it's quite a story.
American ingenuity.
There's
Ingenuity.
There's
it
nothing
always
like
works.
nothing like capitalism, Donna.
And creativity.
You betcha.
I look forward to the boxes.
You betcha.
Thank
It won't
you.
be long.
Uh-huh.
You bet.
Alrighty.
See you
Have a good
soon.
morning.
There we go. All right, let's see. It's 29 after the hour. If I can see this correctly, let's see. Is this Tony that's calling on line 6? Let me ring it up correctly. Yeah, there we are, I think. Good morning, Tony. This is O'Neill. Welcome to the program.
Good morning, O'Neill. How are you this morning?
Wonderful. You going turkey hunting today?
No, O'Neill, I'm not a turkey hunter. I'm calling you about fishing for trout up in the North Georgia area up there next month.
Okay.
I've never been on a trout fishing before, and I got my brother-in-law and his best buddy carry me up there, and for all I know, I'm being taken on a snipe hunt because I don't know what to carry or what to use, what kind of gear I should need. So I was hoping maybe you could give me some insights about what I should use as far as lures and if my ultralight rod is going to be enough.
Yeah, well, a couple of general comments. You're on the right track. Light line. A trout takes small baits, okay? Now, I don't know about your friends as to where you're going to fish or anything, but I can tell you this. If you used a cricket and a float, you could catch every trout in the stream. They would eat them like mad. Now, here's another tip. Wear camo. If you're going to be wading in the stream, wear camo because the trout spook easily and they can see you in that clear, shallow water. Don't dare wear a white cowboy hat or something of that nature. They won't bite. So wear camo, use light line, and if you're going to use live bait, hey, a red wiggler, you throw a red wiggler in a trout stream, you got one on. If there's a trout there, you just caught him. Now, if you're
amazing, here you are talking about live bait, and I was thinking, like rooster tails or beetle spins or something like that.
Well, but it's hard to get those small enough, okay? But all those would work too, according to the size of the trout in the stream. Do you know where you're going? What stream are you going to be fishing in, sir?
No, but it's somewhere up around Jasper or somewhere up there, I think.
Okay, you're probably going to be
exactly.
fishing on the Amicalola River. And if you're fishing on the Amicalola River, those are stock trout. And two things, there's certain parts of the stream, and your friends will know about it, there's certain parts of the stream where you can use corn with a hook. Be sure to use a barbless hook, okay? Flatten out the barb so you can remove the hook easily. There's certain other parts of the stream that are artificial only. You'll have to know that. But the Amicalola River is absolutely full of trout. So you're going to catch your limit, I assure you. You bet. You're going to love that.
I hope so.
You got some good waders?
No, I gotta gear out completely 100%. Like I said, I've never been trout fishing before up there.
Okay.
So,
well, super duper light line. Now you're going to be using 4-pound or 6-pound test line. So the last thing in a general comment, pay close attention before and during the day as to the condition of your line. Feel of it with your fingers. If it's not completely smooth, if there's a nick in it or or anything of that nature where there was a knot that came undone, retie often, because that light line, it just can't stand much pressure, and you don't want to lose a fish because of it.
May I ask one more thing before we go?
Sure.
You were talking about a cricket on a floater.
Yeah.
Down here, when we, I'm down in Southwest Georgia, and when we fish for bluegill or red bellies, we'll put a cricket on a line without a sinker on it, and just let the weight of the cricket as it gets wet, let it float down. Is that the same premise, or is that different from what you're talking about?
It's the same thing. If you're fishing in a stream, you might need a tiny little split shot to get that cricket down a little bit in the stream. Otherwise, he's just going to float on the surface, and he won't sink very well. But
I appreciate your help.
Where you're fishing,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
You may not be able to use crickets or corn or anything of that nature. But if you can, and you're interested in catching fish, that will certainly do it. But I'll bet your buddies look after you.
It used to be a long time ago when we would go fishing big reservoirs and stuff. The thing we had in common is we would all carry our favorite adult beverages.
Right.
Now that we're up in our mid-60s, what we're going to be carrying are CPAP machines. Each one of us plugged into that truck. All right, O'Neill, have a good one.
You too. Glad you called, pal. Good luck to you.
Right.
There we go. 404-872-0750, 800-972-8255. At o'neilloutside.com, if you'll hit that website, you will see on the home page the Southern Grind guest book. Now, what is that? Zach Brown, the fabulously famous country singer and songwriter, he's an Atlanta native, and he has a manufacturing company down in Peachtree City, Georgia, and he makes the Southern Grind knives. And they are top quality, 100%. So, if you visit o'neilloutside.com, you'll see the Southern Grind guest book. And if you'll leave an observation, a question, or comment there, and I get them here, then if I use the comment on the show as a winner of the knife, then we'll send to you a Southern Grind knife. Today, we're going to send out, and he has different models. These are knives that you, this is a knife that you keep, okay? This is a knife that you will to your family. And we'll designate that in a few minutes when we come back, and I'll read some of the Southern Grind questions to you, and we'll designate a winner. But leave it there. Leave a question there, and we'll see if we can do that. Lastly, then, too, on that page, get O'Neill's Green Energy Fishing Lube, Gun Oils, and Boat Cleaner. If you will just give this a try, order it off the website, just give it a try. Order one of the bottles. Then you will not be ordering your traditional gun oil. I'll promise you. This is O'Neill. We'll be back. 40 minutes after the hour, in the first hour of Outdoors this morning on O'Neill Outside. 2 hours every Saturday morning, 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. Who else would do this? Whose idea was this anyway? I'm trapped. I can't get out of it. Right now, let's talk now to Eric is calling on O'Neill Outside. Good morning, Eric.
Hey, O'Neill, how are you this morning?
Lovely. Where are you headed?
Coweta County.
Okay. Going after one of those old ground buzzards?
I'm going to try to see if I can't get one.
Okay.
Hey, I got a question for you.
Okay.
I've killed several birds in the past, and I've looked online or on some videos, and as far as setting your decoys up, I've seen where you can take a jake and put her on the back of a hen, or put him on the back of a hen, like their mate, and if a dominant tom will see that, it just tears him out of the frame. And I just wondered if it's too early at the first of the season to do that.
Not in my judgment, it's not, no. That's the only time I would ever use a decoy. I never use just a hen. It's going to have to be a hen with a gobbler, or better yet, as you've mentioned, a hen with a jake. I wouldn't necessarily, excellent question, I wouldn't necessarily put the jake on the hen. I would just put him close by.
Okay.
And
like I say, I didn't know if it was too early to set him that close to her, or like if she was receptive this early in the season.
I doubt that she would be, but you never can tell. You know, that is the combination that's worked more often with me. At least 50 maybe % or more of the time, I have been successful in turkey hunting with no decoy. I don't want to give him anything to see from a great distance, and that goes back to scouting. I'll tell you a story. The turkey hunter that I thought was the best I ever hunted with was a fellow by the name of Roscoe Reams, and if I've told you this story, then I apologize. But Travis was doing a television show with Roscoe, and he asked Roscoe in the beginning of the program, he said, now Roscoe started turkey hunting in the 1940s, okay? He's already deceased. And Travis asked him, Roscoe, what's the most important part of the hunt? Scouting, calling, camo, decoy. What's the most important part of the hunt? And Roscoe's answer was, whatever it is that you're doing is the most important part. And that's an excellent lesson in life, isn't it?
It really is, yeah. Well, one of the things I was, mentioning about the decoys is, I guess you remember Ben Lee Rogers.
Oh, I do, yes.
I saw a real early video of him doing that, and he said that if you really want to shake the gobbler up, put a jake on top of a hen's back, but he never did mention the time of the season to do that.
And I agree with that, but your question is very well thought out. It might be too early, but that would be the only thing that would keep me from doing that. And if I have doubts about it, I'll just put the jake out there close to the hen and not on top of the hen.
Hey, sounds like a plan to me.
Okay, good luck to you, pal.
Thank you, buddy, and I'll see you.
You bet. Call back again soon. Let me know how you do. There we go. Okay, at 44 after the hour, let's handle some of the Southern Grind guestbook questions, if you will. If you'll visit O'Neill Outside, right on the home page, past the advertisement for the oils, you'll see the Southern Grind guestbook. And if you write to me and we choose we answer them all, but if we choose a certain one for the guestbook winner, then we'll send you a knife. Here's some great questions. This is from Michael Amos, and he lives in Kingsland, Texas. He said, I was watching your show with Eddie at Full Net Charters, and he wanted to know the difference between a redfish and a red snapper. A red snapper is a reef fish. He lives in deep water, anywhere from about 25 to 85 feet, and he lives on the reef and never leaves. A redfish is a traveling critter, and he's basically a bottom feeder. And the world's record redfish is in the territory of about 100 pounds. And that's a completely different guy. And when we were at Eddie with Full Net, I think we caught both red snapper and redfish. Redfish is one of my favorite, and they're both eat very well. And they're both dumb as a rock. You can catch them and catch them and catch them. Here's one from Bill Barry in Plattsmouth, Nebraska. Do you think monofilament or braided line is better for trolling crankbaits? If I'm not having to cast it like trolling, then I will use braided line because I can feel it better and I can set the hook on the movement of the lure better. You'll feel it better, and you can, and the fish will hook himself. He's got it, okay? There's no stretch in braided line. It doesn't stretch. Monoline does stretch. And here's a little tip. I think I've got time for this. Yeah, here's a little tip. I referred earlier to O'Neill's oils that you can look at on the website. The Real Lube, the spray Real Lube, if you'll spray that on your mono, it relaxes it, and it'll work much better. All right, here's a question from Ted Healy in Tampa, Florida. I've been a fisherman for many years. I've always used an open face reel. I'm trying to use a level wind or free spool bait casting reel. I have adjusted the spool tightness and the break, but I'm still getting a bird's nest. Ted, it's your talented thumb that keeps that backlash from happening. When you cast a free spool bait casting reel, that thumb is always very lightly on the reel. And if you've cast too hard, you can clamp down with your thumb. The reels are better than they've ever been, but it is your thumb that keeps the backlash from happening. 47 after the hour. Let's get to another question. Here's the winner. This fellow is the winner of this week's Southern Grind Knife question on O'Neill Outside Radio. It's Eric Weaver from Maiden, M-A-I-D-E-N, Maiden, North Carolina. I enjoy watching your show. That's a good start. My question is, when a deer is shot and left overnight or not found quickly, how do you determine if the meat is edible? Hey, overnight's going to be just fine, okay? You want the meat to cool in any case, and you want it to cool inside his hide, his fur, his skin. Overnight's fine. If the critters, the coyotes or anything else, haven't made their way to him, he's fine, okay? Now, if it's 3 or 4 or 5 days in the hot weather, maybe not. But I would tell you this. If it looks good and you cook it and it tastes good and it doesn't smell, then it is good. You have to cook it thoroughly. So I would say that's not a heavy risk at all overnight. So we'll send a Zach Brown, the model knife will be a Spider Monkey. He names all of them, to Eric Weaver in Maiden, North Carolina. 49 after the hour. The next question is from Travis Sneed from Cumming, Georgia. Why do bucks drop fast from being shot and does do not? I'm going to speculate here for a minute. Let's say that you stand up, 30 yards away, and you stand up on level ground a 6 by 6 inch piece of lumber, okay? Big, heavy piece of lumber. And next to it, you stand up a turkey fan, the fan off of a turkey, okay? Feathers. I will bet you, and I'm speculating, this is total speculation, I would bet you that if you shoot a 30-30 or any caliber, high caliber rifle, and you shoot that 6x6 piece of wood, you're going to knock it over. If you shoot that bullet through that turkey fan, and you just hit the feather part, not the spine of the feather, I'll bet you there's a good chance that turkey fan will remain standing. My point is, the doe is so much smaller and so much less resistant to the force of the bullet that the bullet will pass through the fan and pass through the doe, but it'll certainly knock over a buck, and it'll certainly knock over that piece of wood. Now, that's not scientific. That's just O'Neill sounding off. You think about it. I'd love to have your comments, as a matter of fact, if we get one. Okay, here's a question from Alan Dick. He said he loves the show. He had the privilege of going to the Governor's Gun Club. Good for you, Alan. I have a question about turkey hunting. Is it best to stay put and wait for the tom to come to you, or to run and gun? For me, the best thing is stay still. I think that his vision is such, and you can't see him, but if you get up and try to chase him down or run around and get in front of him, it's much more likely that he'll see you before you see him. Now, I know a lot of turkey hunters that are really good at that. I am not. For one of the things that I learned from Roscoe Reams is patience kills turkeys. Because it's happened to me with hunting with someone else. You get impatient about 9:30 or 10 o'clock. You had one gobbling, and now he's not. And you say, he's gone. Let's just get up and see what we do. And you stand up, and he flies away. He was there the whole time. You almost had him. Okay, Dr. John, if I got time, Dr. John Krupa from Ormond Beach, Florida. Have you ever done a show on falconry? I did do that, and I'm going to do it again. That was fascinating. A trained red-tailed hawk. Well, it's kind of like falconry. And we went squirrel hunting with a red-tailed hawk. Wow, that was great. And I'd like to do that again. So I have done a little bit on falconry a long, long time ago, and would like to do it again. Last one from Gene Tothero in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Are AR-15s viable deer hunting rifles? Absolutely. The barrel is the same. As long as the caliber's is good enough or heavy enough and the shot is well placed, an AR-15 can take a deer down just as well as any other bolt action or automatic. Absolutely. Doesn't matter. The barrel is basically the same. As long as it's a good gun and a good barrel, you can make a good shot, and an AR-15 will work just fine. It's 53 after the hour, 404-872-0750, 800-972-8255. This is O'Neill with O'Neill Outside on a Saturday morning. We got to go to a break, and we'll be back. 57 after the hour. The first hour of Outdoors is almost over. Before we do that, though, let's talk to Gary one more time. Good morning, Gary. You're on O'Neill Outside. Welcome.
Hello, Neil.
Hey, Gary.
This is a different Gary, but we've met several times over the years. But I'm in Flovilla, Georgia now. But you make me homesick every week. I hear that Don call from Ocean Isle.
Ocean Isle, North Carolina.
Yeah. That's where I was born and raised.
Oh, I see.
Around Ocean Isle.
He's quite a guy and a great fisherman.
Yeah, I'm sure he probably knows some of my relatives. But anyway, I was thinking about it the other day and thought you might be interested to know that Ocean Isle, the man that developed Ocean Isle, is almost the same. Oh, you've almost got the same name. His name was Odell Williams.
No kidding. Well, he almost got it right.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
He just barely missed it.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah, just.
I thought that might be interesting to you.
Oh, absolutely. I've never heard that before. I have met one other fellow in my lifetime with the name O'Neal Williams. One other guy, and he lives in Atlanta. And works at Emory Hospital. He's an administrator at Emory Hospital, and I met him there during a hospital visit with my wife many years ago. We went up to the desk, and he had a nameplate at the desk, and the nameplate said O'Neal Williams, and I thought they were playing a joke on me. But I did get to meet the fellow, and he's better looking than I am, so but that was okay.
Yep.
Odell Williams and O'Neal Williams. How about that?
In Milton Crabapple, one time you did a show in Norcross.
Oh yeah.
And what was that? About 20 years ago, I guess. And I met you then, and then I used to see you a lot at the Bass Pro Shop in Gwinnett. But my dad, I took care of him the last 7 years of his life.
Well, I got to go, but we need to meet again.
About 4 miles.
We need to meet again. Good luck to you this weekend, pal. This is O'Neal. Another hour of outdoors headed your way. We'll be back. I hope I'm not divulging any secrets, and maybe he won't mind, but I'm going to say it anyway. I want you to know something. The profits from Southern Grind Knives with Zach Brown goes to veterans, and a camp in the summertime for children. It's called Southern Ground, Ground. I hope he doesn't mind my doing that, but he's a good guy. Okay, it's my pleasure I forgot to do something. This program is brought to you every Saturday morning by the Whitetail Institute, Wild Game Food Plot Seeds, Hayes Auto Dealerships, Tough Shed, I've got one of those, Stripling's General Store in Bogart, Works Tools, True Turn Hooks and Roadrunner Lures, the Governor's Gun Club, fabulous place you need to visit, O'Neal's Gun Oils and Real Lubes, Snellville Heating and Air, Zach Brown, Southern Grind Knives, Timbuktu, and Fisher's Choice Baits, Bodyplex in Alpharetta and Jasper, O'Neal Outside, People and Places Along the Way, and Rush Creek Guide Service. Before we get to anything else, I want to tell you, I talked to Travis last night. Travis lives in Oklahoma, and he works for Rush Creek Guide Service. And they have houses out there and plenty of game. Look up Rush Creek and go ahead and make a reservation now for next deer season. Well, I'm telling you that because they sell out every year. But I would like to see some of you guys go from here out there. Last year, I think Travis told me he and his guests took 74 whitetails, and they took 234 turkeys. But you have to make a reservation early. Look up Rush, R-U-S-H, Rush Creek Guide Service. Second thing, self-promotion runs wild here on the show. If you'll visit O'Neal Outside Facebook page, you'll see, we just started this, you'll see that we're going to Alaska summer of next year. We're going to take the Inside Passage on a cruise ship, O'Neal, and we're inviting you, and you'll find out all about it at Facebook and then eventually on the website. I'm telling you this because, let me tell you how this got started. Gail and I made this trip a few years ago. It's one of the best trips ever for us. The Inside Passage to Alaska on a cruise ship. That's the way you need to see it. And we said, well, let's go to Alaska. Well, why don't we invite so-and-so? Oh, yeah, I'm sure they'd like to go. and let's call so and so. They probably want to go too, and it went that way. And we kept saying, well, I know we probably need to tell so and so, and because they probably want to go. All right, we've already sold 18 places. I have 50. So when you have an opportunity, please take it and visit Emerald Princess Cruise Lines, and you can go to the Facebook page and find out all about it. Okay, that's enough self-promotion. That's enough. I had one more question from the Southern Grind guest book. All righty, he says, this is from Greg Warren in Aynor, South Carolina, Aynor. His name is Greg Warren. He said he's been a fan of the show for years, respects my opinion. My question is, what is the best way to call in coyotes? I'm not shooting past 150 yards. Uses a 17, which is great. I have food scraps, night hunting permit, and so on. For me, Greg, the key to calling one, you got great recordings and of coyotes, fabulous. Okay, that will get their attention. What's worked best for me to complete the hunt is to have something for the coyote to see besides me. I'm in a blind or at the base of a tree, or I'm camoed up as well as I can be. But I do not want him to be looking at me. So I have one of these little things with it's a I'll call the name of it. It's a tail wiggle, and the sound comes out of that. The call comes out of that. So when the coyote gets in close, he will see that, and he'll look at that, and he'll concentrate on that instead of looking for me. You got to trick him because they are really smart critters. And so it's open season on them. You need to get rid of them. They're very, very bad for turkeys and very bad for deer, like the hogs are. So I wanted to answer that question, and that is a Southern Grind question. Let me get these out of the way. 404-872-0750, 800-972-8255. Let me put my glasses on. I'll find out who this caller is. It's 18 after the hour. We've got time for it, I believe. Let's talk to Richard, and Richard's calling from West Virginia. Good morning, Richard. How are you this morning, sir?
Good morning there, O'Neill.
Good morning, Richard.
I was walking. What's that?
Okay.
I'm here.
Okay.
What I wanted to ask was, I was walking down, this happened a while ago, but I was just thinking about it. When I was walking down the steps, I come out my front door, was walking down the steps, and heading towards my car, and I hear this blood-curdling screech.
Uh-huh.
And, I mean, it just stopped me in my tracks for a second. I just kept on going, went down to the car, got my flashlight, came back up the steps and looked, and there was a raccoon sitting there staring. It was in the planter.
Oh.
It was sitting there staring at me. And I'm just wondering, in a case like that, is that normal? I guess I want to know if it's normal behavior that they won't. In other words, if you don't bother them, they won't bother you.
The answer to that question is yes. The only time I've ever heard of anyone being injured or bitten or scratched or anything like that was during a raccoon hunt or a coon hunt, okay, with dogs involved and all that. But that's not your case. The only other time I've ever heard, I went to a place one time. It was a plantation, and it was a wild place, and the raccoons were trained to come in at night for some of the guests to feed them, which I thought was awfully foolish. Because, see, a raccoon, let's see, what is he called? A raccoon male. I think he's not called a buck. I'll think of it in a minute. They can be very aggressive. So to answer your question, that is entirely out of the ordinary. And if you don't bother them or feed them, they won't bother you. But they are smart.
Well, that's what I wanted to know, O'Neill.
Yeah.
I thank you.
You bet. Glad you called. I appreciate you listening, Richard. There we go. There goes Richard. It's 20 after the hour. We'll get to the next call in just a moment. This is O'Neill, 404-872-0750, or outside the Atlanta calling area, it's 800-972-8255. One of the other things that we will do when we return, I love to educate and handle interesting topics when we can. Tell me about your turkey hunt, okay? Where are you going today? What do you plan on doing? Are you a caller? Do you run and gun? What do you do on your turkey hunt? And we have some other things to talk about that too. And isn't it great to set politics aside for a couple of hours on a Saturday morning? It certainly is for me. 404-872-0750, 800-972-8255. Have you ordered my book yet, O'Neill Outside? Take a look at it. It's like a conversation with O'Neill. I think you'll like it. I enjoyed writing it, and maybe you'll enjoy reading it. Other than that, we'll be back. 25 after the hour, and let's. I got a call here. Let's talk to. I think if I can see correctly, it's Jim is calling on O'Neill Outside. Good morning, sir. You're on the air.
Good morning, Professor. How are you doing?
I know I get carried away with all this stuff. I apologize, but
I don't think so. I appreciate what you do, but my question is this.
Okay.
One part of it. Why is it that other states hunt hens and we don't? Is it because of low reproduction? Is it because of increased predation? Or is it because they're trying to get the flock up where it needs to be have a good survival rate?
I think it's just purely I think the first, and I'm going to guess here, I think the first consideration is the number of turkeys that are there, the general population. What states have you hunted in where you could shoot hens?
I have not.
Okay.
I have talked to a couple of guys that have gone to other states that did allow it, and they were asking me if Georgia did. I said no. I said we never have. I said it's about like for a long time in Georgia, we were not allowed to shoot does.
Correct.
They were trying to get the population up, and they were also trying to have a good strength of them, and they wanted a good strain. I didn't know if it was some of the predation as far as
if you're old enough to remember about that, we can correlate this back to deer hunting. When I started deer hunting, my first season was in 1961, and the limit on deer or white-tailed deer in Georgia then was 1 buck.
That's correct, and I don't think we had but about 2 weeks in the year either.
That's right. No does, and you could shoot 1 buck. And now, what is it, 12?
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, it's ballistically high.
Well said. I'm guessing that that legality of shooting hen has to do with the population.
Okay.
But otherwise, right. And hey, listen, to my mind, the limits, the rules, and all are established by scientists, not by me and you standing around at deer camp. So
right.
Whatever they say is what I adhere to.
Well, I agree with you. Our club rules are a little more stricter than what the state is. We allow the guys 2 bucks and 3 does, or a buck and 4 does. But we try to tell them, say, look, unless you've never shot a buck before, do us a favor and don't shoot spikes and don't shoot 4-pointers, don't shoot 6. It's got to be 4 on one side or better, 1 inches tall, and at least even or outside the ears. I said, if we're going to have a good quality herd, which we're beginning to have, you have got to have trigger restraint. And I said, it's just like what O'Neill says all the time. The only people that really and truly govern whether we obey by the state laws or not is the person behind that gun.
That is correct. There's nobody there to throw a flag on you, is it?
No, sir.
Nope.
Not at all.
Not at all.
But you have to live with the decision you made, though. Like a
well, let me give you another. It's a loosely, but let me give you another stat here that will prove what you just told me about how you're managing your deer herd at your club. Ready?
Yes, sir.
Since the year 2000, there are more whitetail antler records been made in the last 18 years than in the previous 100 years. I wonder why.
And don't you also attribute that a little bit also to making food available for the animals and giving them more nourishment than what they would normally be able to possibly find down here in the South?
Absolutely. When I hunted years ago, there was no such thing as a food plot. There was nothing like that.
Illegal.
Nobody ever even thought of that. But it is now.
Not at all.
You bet.
Well, I tell you what, you do a good job of recommending things, and I really appreciate it. I enjoy talking with you when I can. And like I say, you are my professor that I go to when I need to get my ox out of the ditch.
Well, you're very good. So since I've got you on the phone, let me tell you about somebody. I'm going to read you his very brief biography and let you tell me if you know who he is. Ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay. He was born in Saskatchewan, Canada. He was formerly an All-American swimmer in and played on the Canadian national water polo team in the Olympics in 1980. He is considered to be one of the world's foremost experts on the ethnocentric art forms from Western Canada and is an avid collector of tribal art and artifacts from around the world. His wife's name is Louise. Do you know who he is?
You're talking about Mr. Jim Shockey.
You betcha. Jim Shockey. Isn't that interesting?
I tell you what, you guys really intrigue me. I mean, I like to follow you and watch you and listen to you and try out some things that you talk about. And, it's been 6 years ago you told me to get up off the couch if I wanted to hunt, get out there even though it was windy, a little blustery. And the biggest thing I never will forget, you said, do you get hungry at breakfast, lunch, and dinner? And I said, yeah. He said, well, you said they haven't changed their habits either.
Right. You are correct. You are correct.
I appreciate the teaching, and I appreciate the encouragement. I turned 69 this morning, so I'm just an
good for you.
Old fella trying to catch up with you.
Okay, well done. Well done. And I am super impressed that you knew who that guy was that I just described.
Like I said, I try to follow you guys that are successful. If you want to be successful, you got to follow the guys and try to do what they do that have been successful.
I've always, the more you know, the more capable you are of being better at whatever it is that you're doing. And
yes, sir.
That proves out. Remember, if you were listening earlier, and I'm belaboring the subject, but I don't care. Travis asked Roscoe Reams one time, my favorite turkey hunter and a fabulous turkey hunter. He asked Roscoe, "What is the most important part of the hunt? Is it the scouting?"
And Roscoe told him it was what he was doing at that very moment.
That's exactly right. What a lesson in life, huh?
Yes, sir.
He was a fabulous person.
Yes, he was, and I tell you what, I enjoyed seeing you and him hunt together, and I enjoyed the times that he hunted with Roscoe. I mean, I go back and play those things over, and each time I find a little tidbit that I missed the time before. So I keep watching them and trying to pick up more and more as I can.
Well, good deal, and I consider that a compliment, and I thank you for that. And
thank
you for calling.
All right, you give that wife of yours a big hug and give her a kiss that Oral Roberts couldn't release.
Okay. I'll see you soon, my friend. Okay, it's 33 after the hour. I think let me do this. Let's see. I had something here on my desk. Where is all that? I will tell you that we have at 40 after the hour when we come back from this next break. I don't know if I can get through it. I'll do my best. But I have an outstanding Medal of Honor tribute to read to you when we come back from at 5:40 this morning. I want you to stay tuned for that, and if you will, and I think you'll enjoy it. And this, I would direct you to also in that regard. I discovered at someone else who telephoned me or sent me an email about there is a series now on Netflix called The Medal of Honor. And wow, what these guys did, what they sacrificed for their fellow soldiers, for their teammates, for their friends. And it's all very well depicted, professionally produced, lengthy, 15, 20 minutes at a time or more. And I would tell you, by all means, go to Netflix and look up The Medal of Honor. I guess you can find it on the internet too, at some kind of website. So there you are. 404-872-0750, 800-972-8255. We missed hearing from Mac this morning, didn't we? That rascal probably slept in. Maybe it's too windy and cold today. No, it's not. It's never too windy and cold for Mac at all. Can you imagine? Mac Farr has been a guide on Lake Lanier for 40 years. And he's just enthusiastic every morning as he was when he got started 40 years ago. Captain Mac Farr, F-A-R-R. And I've fished with Mac, maybe 10 or 12 times. And he is the personification of what for which you should use a guide. That is, Mac, tell me why you did this. Why are we here? Why are we using this? What if it were warm? What should we do? If it were windy, what should we do? He is has encyclopedic knowledge of Lake Lanier, and quite frankly, the fish don't know where they live. So what he tells you about Lake Lanier is the same thing about other lakes too. Okay, Medal of Honor when we return. This is O'Neill. Sorry. Now let's talk to Jimmy. He's on O'Neill outside. Good morning, Jimmy.
Hey, Chief. Hey, Chief. Great job, man. I like to get choked up myself.
Oh man, I have to read those things over and over and over and over again, or I just quit. I can't get through it.
I change the subject.
Okay. All right.
I'll be choked up. I've been listening to you since the beginning. I crawled up in a truck with a man in Loganville, James Rutledge.
Oh boy.
I got in that truck going hunting, and I sat in that seat and I heard O'Neill, and I said, I got to listen to this crap for 2 hours.
Good for you.
And I'm a rock and roll guy.
Okay.
Country. No, I'm thinking, well, this guy's listening to O'Neill.
Uh-huh.
I said, and you know what? I'll listen to you.
Well, you're very kind. I thank you.
First time caller.
Really?
But I meet up with pigs.
Uh-huh. Oh boy.
And I apologize because it's great to talk to you.
Oh, well, you're very kind. You got plenty of pigs on your property?
Ever since I started baiting.
Uh-huh.
So I just want to know, should we stop baiting?
Well, what's coming to the bait? Pigs?
Pigs.
The only way the way I look at it is this. The way I look at it on the pigs, the turkeys, and the white-tailed deer. Okay? They all deserve life. Okay? They are all all play their role. But if I am hunting for white-tailed deer and turkeys, which I mostly do, I don't want pigs around.
And it's getting to the point where I just can't go down. We're trapping them one at a time, maybe two at a time.
Uh-huh.
My buddy, he smokes the meat. I don't. But I guess we're going to have to start eliminating because it's messing with my turkeys.
Oh, yeah. The turkeys are afraid of them.
Yeah. But there's one or two turkeys on the trail cameras. There used to be 50. So they're gone.
I'm here.
They're gone. The turkeys are gone. So I guess we'll stop putting the bait out. But my neighbors has got the bait right beside us. So what do you do?
Well, yeah, I don't know. That's a tough deal. What I will tell you this, in my judgment, the only way you can ever get rid of the pigs is trap them professionally. Travis has a trap out in Oklahoma. It's a big circle trap, and it's got a camera on it, and he baits inside that trap, and he can close the gate on the pin on it using his telephone.
That's a ninja trapper, I guess. He ninja trap them, huh?
Whatever that thing is, but he traps. That rascal Travis traps sometimes 20 and 30 at a time.
Oh, jeez.
And it's impossible for you to kill that many.
Yeah, and we're having to come down here 2 or 3 days a week just to check the trap.
Yeah, I'll bet so. Well, I don't own one of those things. Travis does, and he swears by it. And what they do is kind of interesting. Out there in Oklahoma, they trap so many of them, they'll trap 20 and 30 at a time, and they ship them to Germany.
They ship them overseas.
They ship them overseas. They sure do. He's an entrepreneur.
So instead of killing them or euthanizing them or whatever, he just ships them out.
Right. Well, I mean, let's face it. Say if you had one of those pens and 25 of them got in there and you closed the pen door and you shot them all, are you going to be able to eat 20 of them?
Oh, no. That's why I can't bring myself to whack them.
Right.
I can keep my buddy full, and keep his freezer full, but I can't do it.
Yeah. Well, hey, that was a great call. Terrific call, and I thank you.
Yes, sir.
We always learn something when somebody like you calls, and I appreciate that. There we go. Let's see if I got time for this one. I sure do, absolutely. And this is Wade is calling. Good morning, Wade. You're on O'Neill Outside. Welcome to the program.
Bowling Green, Kentucky.
All right, good idea. Bowling Green, Kentucky. That's a pretty place.
Yeah, I'm an hour behind you. I told Jason, Dad, blame it, I didn't set my alarm right.
Oh, boy.
But I tell you what, if I had 20 of them things at a time, I guess I'd have to fire up my big smoker.
Yeah, that's right.
I make barbecue with a whole Hilltoppers gang up here.
Yeah, 20 at a time, huh?
Yeah, no, I'm talking about Jason. I mean, if Travis are catching 20 hogs at a time, I need to go out there with my big smoker.
Oh, absolutely. You bet. Yeah.
I thought we forgave the Germans. I didn't know we was cussing them bad enough to send them all kind of damn hogs. Pardon me.
No, well, we've forgiven this generation, but we haven't forgiven the last one.
Yeah, I'm still reading about that.
Mm-hmm. Good for you.
Them Thunder Chickens is going to town up here, O'Neill.
How about that? You can really hear them, huh?
I got it right over here behind us. There's a big old hay field and a soybean field. You can hear them in the morning as soon as day breaks daylight.
Boy, it doesn't take long, does it? It's almost.
No, I see a lot of turkeys up here. I think I got bunches of them.
Oh, it's.
I hope my buddy Kyle said he's in Carabel, Florida. Well, he was yesterday. I think he's going back to Georgia today.
Right.
But he said he's going to hunt up there in the Ellijay, right up there near you.
Oh, yeah, that's not far. Yeah, sure, you bet.
No, I'm trying to think of the name of the road. Ben Higgins Road, right down the road from you there.
Okay.
That's where Billy's Lake is. You got 20 acres on a 12-acre lake, and you know it's half a lake.
Okay.
We're going down there in about 2 weeks. We're going to see if we can put the chartreuse jig on them crappie.
Good for you. You better hurry up.
They'll buy something as long as it's chartreuse, I'll buy it.
That's right. Any color's fine as long as it's chartreuse.
Chartreuse, yeah. So, Matt, hey, I wonder if Matt got his preserves I left him over at Nally's.
I don't know.
Hey, Matt. I made them last fall.
I don't know. I hadn't
heard.
I know
Sam I know Sam's got them. Yeah, I put his name on top of the jar.
Okay. Well, we'll find out.
Hey, how about I think I asked you this last week.
Okay.
I told you about Wolf Creek Dam up here. Didn't you say you striper fished up here?
Wolf Creek Dam? What's that lake?
Cumberland. It's the dam below Cumberland. It's called Wolf Creek.
No, I haven't. I fished a lot behind. Oh my goodness, what is that one along 75 up there, close to Sweetwater, Tennessee?
Land of the Lakes.
No, it's not Lenore or I can't remember.
Notley?
No, way up in Tennessee.
I'm on Kentucky. I'm a little farther on
I'm
the
south,
other side of the
north of
Dixie
Georgia. Down in Tennessee, close to Knoxville. I can't remember the name of, but I fished there a lot behind the dam. That's really good fishing.
Well, I think we're gonna hire a guide. I mean, I ain't never done that in my life because I've lived on Lake Lanier forever. My daddy knows more about fishing than I did. Oh, I got to tell you, I figured out how to do it.
Okay.
I got to email you these pictures of all these white bass my dad used to catch on Lanier.
Okay. I hear
you almost as good looking as my daddy. Y'all look like brothers.
Yeah, I've heard you say that before.
I'm working on it. I got it downloaded. Now all I got to do is send it to you.
Send it over there to me. I know he must be a handsome man.
I look just like him.
Well, good. I know somebody else sent me.
You're gonna have a feel. You're gonna look like looking in the mirror over there. My daddy was an outdoorsman for sure. He always told everybody he didn't work for a living. He worked by minnows and bullets.
There you go. That's good. That's
if
good.
I'm going working, I'm going fishing.
All right. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing the photo.
I remember him and old Larry Cross. Larry Cross was an HVAC guy. Daddy was a painter.
Mm-hmm.
About noon in the summertime, they always said don't go fishing till the sun hits the water. On the crappie start biting.
Uh-huh.
About noon, he said, Larry, I feel the call. He said, what? He said, my bobber's trying to go under and I can't see it from here. Let's go to the lake.
That's good.
Off we'd go on there.
You know, that's you know what? You know, I've heard this before that the most beautiful sight in the world is the hole in the water where the cork used to be.
Yep. That the bobber makes when it goes under.
That's exactly right. Hey, listen, glad you called, pal. Stay in touch.
I'll say you now. Sorry, I'm an hour behind you. That's working on me a little bit.
Oh boy, that'd be tough.
It's 4:30. It's 4:52 here. You'll be off. I'll be talking to Walter Reed in a minute.
Yeah, that's right. Walter's a good guy. You'll enjoy it. I gotta go. There you go, my man. It's 52 after the hour. This is O'Neill with O'Neill Outside every Saturday morning, 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. on News Talk 750 WSB and 95.5 and the Sports Broadcast Radio Network all across the country from Dallas and Fort Worth to Seattle to Sacramento, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, all the way to Florida and all the way to the tip of Maine. This is O'Neill Outside, the #1 live outdoor-based radio talk show in the world because you guys listen. We're on lots of stations, and you guys listen, and I'm very gratified. We've had a lot of compliments this morning, and I'm grateful for that. And every Saturday we'll do the radio prize package, the Medal of Honor tribute, the Southern Grind guest book, and my own self-promotions for the O'Neill's Oils and Real Lubes, and my book, O'Neill Outside. You may enjoy that if you have an opportunity. And then, next week we're going to talk extensively about our trip to Alaska. We're going to Alaska, and I want you to be a part of it. And that's the #1 trip I've ever taken. And Gail and I are going again summer of next year. So we'll get to that, I promise. This is O'Neill with O'Neill Outside, and we'll be back. We had some excellent calls this morning. I hope that you participated. It's 57 after the hour right now. We do this every Saturday morning, and I appreciate so many of you planning on visiting with us and making yourselves part of the program. After all, it's just a conversation between O'Neill and you guys. I forgot to tell you, in Georgia now, look it up at the Department of Natural Resources. There's an outdoor outdoor women's instruction. down at one of the DNR facilities at down outside of Covington. And I have had several of my friends go to the Outdoor Women's camp, if you will, meetings there, and boy, they loved it. So if you're interested in the outdoors, females, I tell you what, must be a really good thing to do. I might go myself. I wouldn't mind being around a bunch of women, and if I keep my mouth shut. And maybe you should plan on calling us next Saturday also. I hope so. I'm sure we'll hear from Don Buford in Ocean Isle, North Carolina. We'll hear from Mac Farr at Lake Lanier. And we'll listen to some stories about turkey hunting, I'll just bet you. This is opening day. And in Alabama and all throughout Texas, I know I talked with Travis last night, their youth season opened today. Texas turkey season next week. And then the Oklahoma season after that. So let's end the show today with one of my very, very favorite songs from a brilliant, an absolute genius. You should read about him. His name is Ray Charles. This is O'Neill. And if you can keep this in mind, if you're too busy to go fishing and take a kid along, you're too busy. I'll see you guys next week.
I once asked a mighty hunter, coming home from the field, how he came to possess such mighty hunting and fishing skill. He said, I'll tell you a secret, son. I learned everything I know from listening to O'Neill Outside on my radio. O'Neill, O'Neill.